Students, let us now understand what is the velocity of transverse wave. See, the best example we can understand is that a string tied to a rigid support. Okay, a string is tied to a rigid support and one end of the string we hold in our hand, pull it and give a slight jerk or pluck it. You will find that the wave is traveling from one end to another in a form of crest and trough. Here, the tension in the string, okay, provides the necessary force of inertia, okay, or restoring force. The tension provides a restoring force. When the string moves up, it returns back to its original position and then again moves down, again returns to its mean position. So that is happening because of what? The tension in the string. The tension provides what? Provides restoring force. Restoring force to the string. Okay. So this point you remember. Secondly, the string, it's a cotton thread or anything, should have elastic properties, elasticity, then only the waves can travel through the string. Okay. Now the velocity of this wave, transverse wave, is given by the formula V equal to square root of T upon M. Okay. Now what are these terms? T stands for tension in the string. How tight you hold the string. That is the tension in the string. And M stands for the linear density of the string. What is the mass per unit length? Linear density means what? M stands for mass per unit length. Now example, take example, best example I'll take is that of a cotton thread and a steel wire. Which one is having more linear density? Steel wire will have more linear density compared to cotton thread, right? So cotton thread is having less linear density, so it will have more velocity. The velocity of the wave will be more in case of what? Cotton thread, but less in case of steel wire. So this formula tells you the velocity of transverse wave, especially in a string, a stretched string, okay, given by V equal to square root of T upon M. See, on a similar basis, let us understand the velocity of longitudinal waves. Okay, as I earlier told you, longitudinal waves consist of alternate compressions and rarefactions. In longitudinal waves, there are alternate compressions and rarefactions. Okay, this is a compression, this is a rarefaction, again compression, again rarefaction. Okay, and I told you earlier also what happens in a compression and what happens in a rarefaction. In a compression, the particles of medium come very close, the density increases, pressure increases. In a rarefaction, the density and pressure decreases. Okay, so compressions and rarefactions are alternately placed. And further, what you have to understand here, the medium should possess elasticity of volume. Okay, the medium should possess elasticity of volume. Now Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, gave the formula for velocity of longitudinal waves. Okay, maybe it may be in a air or it may be any other medium. The velocity of longitudinal waves is given by V equal to square root of E upon rho. E stands for what? E stands for elasticity of the given medium. But which type of elasticity that I am telling you? It consists of elasticity of volume. Elasticity of volume. And this also is called as what? Bulk modulus. Bulk modulus of the medium. Now the elasticity of medium is also depending on what? The pressure of the medium. Like when you talk about air, the bulk elastic modulus is also depending on what? The pressure of air, and so the same formula can be also written as P upon rho. That P stands for pressure at NTP, normal temperature pressure, and rho is the density of air. So the formula is given by Newton, and this formula is formula for longitudinal waves, especially when they are traveling through an elastic medium. And which elasticity the medium should possess? It should possess elasticity of volume. That means volume can change or it will regain its original shape. Okay, and it is called as what? Bulk modulus. The elasticity of volume is called as bulk modulus, and we get this formula V equal to square root of P upon rho, where P stands for pressure of the air. Here now I am relating elasticity of the medium with the pressure of medium. How Newton explained this? First of all, understand this, that Newton assumed that when a compression is formed, okay, there is a slight rise in temperature of the air or medium, and when there is rarefaction, when the particles of medium move away from each other, there is a decrease in temperature. Okay, and since the total temperature remains constant, okay, he considered that this process of formation of longitudinal waves is an isothermal process. Isothermal process means what? The process in which the overall temperature remains constant. Okay, that is called as isothermal. When a compression is formed, temperature increases. When a rarefaction is formed, the temperature decreases. But overall temperature remains constant. Okay, that was the assumption. And since temperature was remaining constant, the pressure will also remain constant for a given volume of air. And that's why the elastic modulus was compared with what? Pressure. Okay, and that's why the formula becomes V equal to square root of P upon rho. Okay, where P was the atmospheric pressure of air. The same formula we write as V equal to H dg upon rho. Okay, H is the height of mercury column, which is approximately 0.76 meter. Okay, this is the height of mercury column. D is the density of mercury, around 13,600 kg per meter cube. G stands for acceleration due to gravity, 9.8 meter per second square, and rho stands for density of air. Okay, when you substitute all these values in the formula, okay, what we get? The velocity of sound in air at 0 degrees Celsius or at NTP. NTP means normal temperature pressure. Okay, at NTP, called as normal temperature pressure, it comes out to be 279.9 meter per second. This is velocity of sound in air at normal temperature pressure. It comes out to be 279.9 meter per second. Okay, so this is the theoretical value which you obtain when you put the value of H, D, G and density of air. 279.9 meters per second. So that is the theoretical value of velocity, not the experimental. This was the theoretical value which you obtained. Okay, when you put the value of H, D and G, it comes out to 279.9 meter per second. But what was the experimental value? Experimentally, when you calculate the value of velocity of sound in air, okay, experimental value comes out to be 332 meter per second. How much? 332 meter per second. Now compare this value with this. Is it correct? Is the experimental value wrong, or is this value wrong? Okay, in experiments we have learned there are errors. Many times there are errors. But here the difference is around 16%. 16% error cannot happen. And so there should be some problem with the either formula or with the experiment. But scientists carried out experiments again and again, and they got nearby at 0 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius, the velocity of sound came out to be 332 meter per second and not 279.9 meter per second. So the formula may have mistake. The new formula given by Newton may have mistakes in it. So one correction was suggested by a scientist or physicist called Laplace. Okay, and that's why it is called as Laplace correction to the velocity of sound. Laplace correction. Now, what was a mistake done by Newton which was corrected by Laplace? Understand this. There is a difference between isothermal and adiabatic. Adiabatic means what? Adiabatic, I am telling you, if total energy, total heat energy of a system doesn't change, or it is not exchanging any heat from with the surrounding, then that system which does not exchange heat with the surrounding is said to be what? Adiabatic. It is said to be adiabatic state. But isothermal means what? If the temperature remains constant, it is called as what? Isothermal. Now what Newton assumed, when a compression is formed, temperature increases. When a rarefaction is formed, temperature decreases. But this compression and rarefaction happens so fast, there is no time for the heat dissipation. Okay, there is no time for the heat to decrease and again increase. Okay, so overall temperature or overall heat of the system doesn't change. The temperature may not remain constant everywhere. Understood? If temperature remains constant, we call it as isothermal. Newton assumed that the compressions and rarefactions which are formed, they are isothermal. But Laplace said that no, they are not isothermal. The system is in adiabatic state. Adiabatic state means what? The temperature may rise or decrease. No problem. But the overall heat energy of the system remains constant. So he made a correction to the formula given by whom? Newton, and he suggested one constant called gamma, which should be added to the formula, and that formula is written in this manner. Please look here. The formula is written in this manner: velocity of sound equal to square root of gamma p upon root. Now what is this gamma? Now gamma stands for the ratio of principal specific heat of a gas at constant pressure to principal specific heat of the gas at constant volume. In 10th we have learned, now you forgot what is Cp and what is Cv. Do you remember what is Cp, what is Cv? Cp is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of gas at constant pressure, okay, through 1 degree Celsius. And Cv is the quantity of heat, amount of heat required to raise temperature of unit mass of gas at constant volume through 1 degree Celsius. And this ratio is equal to 1.4. And this 1.4 is put in this formula, V equal to 1.4 into pressure of air upon density of air. Okay, and when you put this value, the answer comes out nearly approximately 330 or something meter, 332.3 meter per second. which is in excellent agreement with the experimental value. This is a theoretical value, this is the experimental value, and that's why this correction which we apply to the formula is called as Laplace correction. Okay, it is called as Laplace correction. So we got the velocity of sound in air. It is given by this formula gamma p upon rho. Okay. Now let's solve some numericals based on this. Let's talk about one numerical of textbook. A very simple numerical. A certain sound wave has speed 340 meter per second and wavelength of 1.7 meter. Calculate frequency and period. So in the given part, I will first write what is given here. Speed is given 340 meter per second. Lambda is given 1.7 meter. What do you have to find? Frequency f or n, any symbol you can take. I will take n, and time period. Okay, these two things you have to find. Formula V equal to n into lambda, and second is T equal to 1 upon n. Both the formulas will be used. Okay, V equal to n lambda and T equal to 1 upon n. The first formula I will use V equal to n into lambda. So n will be V upon lambda, that is 340 upon 1.7. Okay, if you want to shift the decimal point, I'll multiply by 10. So 3400 upon 17, which comes out to be 200 hertz. This is the value of frequency. N is 200 hertz. Now we'll also calculate time period. Time period will be 1 upon n, that is 1 upon 200, right? Now 1 by 2 is 0.5, and 10 raised to 2, when you take in the numerator, it will become 10 raised to minus 2. So half I write as 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 2, or simply 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 seconds. Okay. If you want to write in decimal, the answer will be 0.005 seconds. So that this is the answer. N is the frequency, 200 hertz, and time period is 0.005 seconds. Okay. Is it clear? How we calculate T and how we calculate N. Talk about now second numerical. What is a numerical and what is the question? See, a tuning fork of frequency 170 Hz produces sound of wavelength 2 meters. Find speed of sound. So in the given part, what will you write? Frequency N is 170 Hz. Okay. Wavelength is given lambda 2 meters. Okay. What you have to find? To find what? Speed of sound, that is V. V you have to find. And formula we all know. V equal to N into lambda. Right? Therefore, V will be N is 170 into lambda is what? 2. 340 meter per second. This is the speed of sound. A very simple numerical. Okay, and directly we use the formula V equal to N lambda.